Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Jamie and I talk a lot about natural wellness and natural lifestyle, and I am a mama of a 9-year-old. So today I want to talk to you about making informed, empowered decisions. You're going to have to make so many choices as a mama, everything from what to dress them in to what to feed them to whether or not to vaccinate, to what school to send them to, what age to send them to school. There's so many decisions out there, and it kind of feels like there's a million different opinions on everything. So you might have seen my birth video and how I became a natural mama. If not, I will link it in the cards so that you can head over there next. But I didn't start out as a natural mama. I had to learn a lot of lessons, that a lot of things happened that didn't feel good and weren't aligned with my values. It took me a really long time to make choices where I felt great about them and I knew that we were making the right choice for our family. So if you've ever been on social media in a group or two and you've heard a mom say, "Oh my God, never use oils on your baby," or "Oh my God, never use eucalyptus oil," or "Oh my God, I cannot believe you vaccinated," or "Oh my God, yes, you have to vaccinate." I'm sure that you've been there if you're a mom. There are so many opinions out there and so many people that tell you never to do something. And when you sit and think about it, the question that you really need to ask yourself if you are looking to make an informed, empowered choice for your family about a lot of issues, specifically controversial ones, is why. Why is this person telling me not to do this? Or why is this person telling me to do this? If you ask that question and then take the step to look at the study or the report yourself, you'll be able to make the best decision that feels right for you and your family. So there's a lot of bloggers out there. There's a lot of professionals, medical professionals, and other professionals that like to summarize their take on an issue or a report or a study, and they will give you the information that is in their opinion. And many of them will say, "Don't do this, do this," or "never do this." The best thing that you can do is ask why and then go to that source yourself. The reason why that helps you make an informed, empowered decision is because you're asking the question, not what will happen if, but what if I do that, which could lead to more fear, right? Because a lot of these opinions are very fear-based. They're making you believe there's something to be afraid of. And that's great if they're trying to protect you, but why are they doing that? So don't ask the question, what will happen if, because that's just going to put you in more of a fear-based mindset, and it's going to lead you on a path that's going to take you to a lot of fear-based information and not evidence-based information. So ask the question, why? And then go to the source. So let me give you an example. I was recently getting married in Mexico, and we had quite a lot of pushback from our friends, couples that were trying to conceive a baby. And they heard from a doctor or a friend or an OBGYN or a family member not to go to Mexico because of the Zika virus. So I said to myself, why are doctors recommending this? Why are people afraid of the Zika virus? So I went to the CDC's website, and while from a natural mom perspective, I don't agree with CDC recommendations most of the time, I went and I read their recommendation, and then within their recommendation, they linked the report. Now this is important because it wasn't a study. It didn't happen to be a study. They linked the report that they based their information off of. And I went to that report. I think there was 2 or 3 of them. And I read it. And it was long. And it was very medical. Like the terms in it were, it was not an easy read. Let's just put it like that. But there's a couple of things that you as a mom can look for in a study or a report. And you don't have to be trained medically to base your own opinion off of that report or study. So the first one is, who is writing this report or study? And a lot of times you will find a conflict of interest. It could be a study or a report on a vaccine, and it could be written by a vaccine manufacturer, or it could have been a study funded by a vaccine manufacturer. Now that right off the bat will tell you that it might not 100% be something that you can trust. And you need to know, because unfortunately there's a lot of studies that are funded by the companies who will profit off of a positive result for them. The next thing that you need to look into is how the study was done, or what were the facts around the report that was written. So for example, this Zika virus, this report was written and it was hypothesized by nurses in the Brazil community that the Zika virus was contributing to birth defects because there was a rise in birth defects. At the same time, there's a rise in the Zika virus, or when the Zika virus was rampant in Brazil, there was also a rise in birth defects. So they hypothesized that that was the cause. Now that is the information that the CDC and your doctors are using to make recommendations. And honestly, guys, your doctors most likely are just going to go read the CDC's recommendations. They're not going to look into it and read the study themselves unless they're personally invested or they're just a really great doctor. And chances are you could have one of those doctors, but the opinion of the doctor could be different than the opinion you would have hearing that this link is only hypothesized. Now also what you want to look at is the factors in the report or the factors in the study, like the outside factors. What else was involved, if like how the study was performed, if there was a whole bunch of people, how long the study lasted. So for example, in this Zika report, it mentions a whole bunch of other factors that may have contributed to the rise in birth defects. One of them was a mandate on a specific vaccine that all pregnant women had to obtain in Brazil while they were pregnant. So when I read that, I knew what the answer was right for me. I knew what felt right, and because I looked at the actual information and I made my own opinion based on the facts and the information that the report gave me, I felt empowered. I knew it was the right decision. I did not second guess myself. When we went to Mexico, I was not worried. I wasn't scared. There was no fear inside of me of the Zika virus. And that's the kind of decision that you want to make. You want to make a decision that is empowering so that you aren't afraid. You're not making any of it based on fear. You're making it off of what feels right to you, and you're forming your own opinion based on your values. So chances are that once you read a couple of these studies or reports on really important topics that you're making, or important decisions that you're making as a mom, maybe vaccinations, maybe natural wellness, not giving Tylenol for a fever, stuff like that. Maybe after you've read a few of these reports or studies yourself and you've seen the information, you are going to be really empowered and just know when something does not align with your values. At that point, you might find somebody that looks at things the same way as you, maybe a blogger or a medical professional, or in my case, a pharmacist. So there's this pharmacist named Lindsay Elmore. She works for Young Living. She used to be a traditional pharmacist, and she has all that background and all that training, and she fell in love with Young Living, and then she joined their team. But she makes videos on a lot of the science behind oils, and she dives deep for people into studies and into case reports, and she tells you where this stuff is coming from, which is why I love her. She goes for the why. Why are people saying this about essential oils? And then she summarizes in her own opinion what those results mean. So a lot of times I don't have to go to the specific study or report when I hear it from her, because I know how she looks at things, I know how she forms her opinions, and I know if it resonates with my values or not. Sometimes when it's a little bit unclear, she does often summarize based on her opinion of that and doesn't give you too much information. And sometimes when it's unclear like that, I will go to the actual study, and she's really great at giving you the references, especially in her book. I will go to the actual study and I read it myself, and I will decide if it's something that I want to consider when making a decision. And I will tell you, when it comes to essential oils, most of the time all of the hype, fear-based information that you're getting from people, when you go to the actual studies, it's not what they are making it out to be. And it's really important when you're making decisions like that in your family that you need to feel good about, you need to feel confident about, you need to feel empowered knowing that you made the right choice for your family. It's really important to just look at the information yourself and say, is this a good enough report or study to help me make an opinion on whether or not to use this in my... Okay, so to summarize, guys, if you want to be able to make informed, empowered decisions as a mom, make sure you ask why whenever anybody tells you never do something or you're doing something wrong. That why question is essential. Look at the study or the report yourself and ask yourself, do you feel comfortable making the same assumption that that person made? Do you feel comfortable using this bit of information to influence your decision? And if you decide yes, then you're going to feel empowered. If you decide no, then you're going to feel empowered. You're going to have made an informed, empowered decision. And as a mom, especially a natural mama, who is doing things very unconventionally and very unmainstream, and could have a tendency to be not so confident in what they're doing because it's not what your mom did, what your grandfather did, what your grandmother did, what your friends are doing. It's not something that everybody else is doing. You might have a tendency to feel insecure. The empowered decisions, one by one, little by little, help you have that confidence and that security knowing you're doing what's best for your family. And in the end, that's all everybody wants for their family, is to do what feels best for their family. And we all have the right to make those decisions for our family. Just do it informed and do it empowered. All right, I hope that you guys found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell so that you get a notification and never miss a video again.